Welcome back to Going Walkabout. We're in Istanbul, the land of exquisite mosques, where the Bosphorus Strait separates the country into east and west. We flew from Palma de Mallorca to Istanbul. As you may remember from our previous video, we had to get out of the Schengen area for 2 months so we wouldn't overstay our visit there. We decided on Turkey and to start in Istanbul, which per MasterCard is now one of the top 10 tourist destinations globally. Istanbul is the only city that straddles Europe and Asia, split by the Bosphorus Strait, bridging and embracing both cultures. You can clearly see the contrast of where East meets West everywhere. Known originally as Byzantium from 1330 until 1453, when it was then renamed Constantinople, which was the name until the 1930s when it was renamed Istanbul. The division between Europe and Asia is a natural one, the Bosphorus Strait being used as a passageway between the Black Sea and the Sea of Marmara. The historic nucleus of Istanbul is mostly on the European side. Before we go over our stay in Istanbul, in which we'll show you where to stay and what to see, I'll go over a few fun facts on the city to give you some background. Turkey is roughly the size of Texas and Louisiana combined, with a population of 85 million, 17 million of which reside in Istanbul. You may have thought the Netherlands gave birth to the tulip. It is not the case. Tulips were sent from Constantinople to Amsterdam in 1554, which led to tulip mania in the Netherlands. And here's a shocker. Turkish coffee was actually outlawed during the 17th century upon penalty of death. Thankfully, the law was short-lived and the national obsession with caffeine could resume. And they have a thing for cats here, just like the Romans. Cats are protected here, and they are everywhere. They believe the cats keep down the rodent population. The Turkish company, Pujadan, introduced a modern pet-friendly idea. It's a recycling box that releases water and food for stray dogs and cats in exchange for plastic water bottles. Sounds like a perfect solution. Lastly, not only does Istanbul have two of the most famous mosques in the world, the Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque, the city also houses 3,300 mosques, while the country has over 89,000. During this video, we'll go over where to stay, how to get around, and what to see if you have 5 days, give or take. The best location to stay in would be the Old City, which is on the European side. We stayed in the Hilton Doubletree. It was great as there was a tram stop right outside the door, which is a great segue into the next thing. Get a tourist pass. It enables you to use the trams and metros. You only need one per family. The best way to travel in the Old Town, Istanbul, is via the trams, which are constant. They can get a bit crowded, but hey, that's the fun of travel. And on a good note, they are dead cheap. As we arrived in the late afternoon, we figured we'd grab a bite to eat. I highly recommend this place, the Seven Hills Restaurant. You can go to the rooftop and see both the Blue Mosque and the Hagia Sophia at the same time. They allow people to feed the seagulls as well, so I wouldn't recommend a table on the outside. For dinner, a nice walk up the main drag, and you can catch the free entertainment from the local ice cream vendors. After that, a quick tram ride back to the hotel, and some much-needed rest for the night before sightseeing the next day. We started early by going to the Basilica Cisterns, built 1,500 years ago by the Romans. The cisterns have been used for movies like From Russia with Love, and have been used for the main water supply for all of Istanbul for centuries. Lost to antiquity and only rediscovered in the 1800s by a French archaeologist. They believe it only took 38 years for the Romans to build this underground masterpiece. Repairs were then made with old sculptures and columns lying around from the Greek period, so you get a mix and match of centuries and styles. With the addition of local artwork, the place is captivating. San was our tour guide. I highly recommend getting one. It allows you to jump the line and you find out some great extra facts.
Make 360-degree turn, you make a wish, and we believe that wish will also come true. But now it's on a high level, but before it was a wooden platform that you could reach there and do your wish thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Plan on at least a couple of hours to explore the Basilica cisterns. It's well worth the time. After the tour, we opted for a cold local brew, Efes, which is great beer by the way, and some real Turkish food. Lamb and baked vegetables are two big parts of the Turkish diet. With some ice cream and baklava-like sweets for dessert, they also prepare these clay jugs filled with chicken or lamb and spices. It becomes yet another way of entertaining the guests, just serving it up. Our tram ride back was a bit crowded, but everyone is calm and very friendly, so no worries. Next morning, breakfast at the Hilton. The Turkish diet is very healthy, with many salads. They also make fresh Turkish bread every morning. Needless to say, the Turkish girls are stunning. We decided to do the Blue Mosque and the Hagia Sophia, starting with the mausoleum for the Sultan of the Blue Mosque, all of which was constructed in 1609. The Blue Mosque is bathed in blue lights at night and adorned with blue tiles on the interior. It is a breathtaking sight to behold. The nice thing is, you only need a quick walk to get to the other main mosque of Istanbul, which is the Hagia Sophia. Built in 537 AD as a church, it was turned into a mosque in 1453 when the Ottoman Empire took over Istanbul. Still used for prayer daily, so time your visits for non-prayer times. A tram ride down the street deposits us at the Goleta Pier. What better way to get a feel for the topography of the area than by boat? As Istanbul straddles two areas, from the boat you can see both, plus palaces and the Asian side of the city, which tends to be where the locals live. The blending of East and West is everywhere. And of course, there's onboard entertainment. Truly the best way to see the bridge between two worlds. It was a day out on the Bosphorus. Our next day, we decided to see the Grand Bazaar. You'll be getting off at this particular tram station. I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I'll probably mangle the pronunciation, but you get the idea. It is the world's oldest running long-term bazaar, started in 1481. The bazaar has been attracting shoppers to its labyrinth of small alleyways for centuries. The things you can buy range from decorations to foodstuffs and spices. Don't forget to inspect the smaller corridors as they can lead you out into some beautiful courtyards. My favorite area was down one of those little alleyways, dedicated to booksellers and cats. What a gorgeous courtyard to spend an afternoon, perusing books and petting pussies. We stayed for a while and then trundled back to the hotel for a much-needed glass of wine and beer. I think we saved the best for last. Since 1869, the Museum of Archaeology has been housing antiquities from this vast and complex country. Plan on a few hours to see everything. Both Kiwi and I agreed this is the best museum we have ever seen. What I loved is the way that they had examples of how things were done, like creating sculptures. First mining the stone, then chiseling the actual sculptures, and then the finished product of how it would look on a home or a building. In another area of the museum, they show you how the object would have looked in the daily life of those times. Then they show you the object that they've discovered that is akin to that. It's actually fantastic. My favorite display was the video of the archaeologists working. What a creative way of showing their process. Stepping out of the museum and walking a bit down the road, you can take in the Garden of Topkapi. The fountain at the entrance reads, "Welcome to the flower and the rose garden of Gilhane Park," which has been serving as an outer garden of Topkapi Palace for centuries. There you have it, our 5 days in Istanbul. It's a vibrant city, an exotic blend of East and West, bridging the two cultures with humor and style. We'll be in Turkey for 2 months, flying to Alanya shortly. We hope you're enjoying the travel videos. If you are enjoying them, please give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Or better yet, subscribe. I also welcome feedback and comments. Next stop, Alanya.